Thanks. Mr. Cisneros, are you familiar with the tweet? It's both on the screens, it should be up there, and right behind me, by the former DODEA Chief of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, Kelisa Wing. Are you familiar with the tweet? Can you please read the tweet aloud?
So exhausted at the white folks in these PD sessions. This lady actually had the audacity to say black people can be racist too. I had to stop the session and give Karen the business. We are not the majority. We don't have power. A thread, why ask for assistance?
And again, for the viewers who are watching this is the former chief of DEI for DODEA, for schools in our Department of Defense. This is wildly inappropriate and unacceptable. Would you agree with that, Mr. Cisneros?
I do agree that that is not acceptable. It's not condoned by, it's not something I would condone, and it's not condoned by DODEA or the Department of Defense.
Elise Stefanik tweeted, Biden's Department of Defense must answer for the radical, woke indoctrination forced on our military schools. I'm working to expose the truth.
Well, when I raised this issue, in fact, I wrote a letter to the department of September of last year and did not receive a response. It was only when I wrote a follow-up letter on November of last year, we did finally get a response in December stating the department was conducting an inquiry into this matter. Today, 6 months after that initial inquiry, you responded 3 hours prior to this hearing, which is a trend for Biden administration officials at the last minute scrambling before these hearings, claiming that you determined Ms. Wing was speaking, quote, in a personal capacity and that her colleagues never heard her made similar comments at work. However, interestingly, in the letter, which I want to submit for the record,
without objection,
it also states that she has been transferred as part of headquarters restructuring. She was reassigned to another position that does not include diversity, equity, and inclusion specific responsibilities. I have a feeling that has to do with the fact that we have shined light on this. But my question for you is, will you commit to making the review and the findings publicly available to Congress and to service members?
Ma'am, you did get the letter today. I apologize that it did not come sooner, but I will say also my team has been down here, the DODEA team as well, to talk with staff on this topic.
No, there was no response to the letter. We were promised 30 days. 30 days after September would be October.
The director of schools, Tom Brady, was down on the Hill to talk with staff as well.
Don't cover up for the trend of the Biden administration. This is the second hearing in 2 weeks where the response to a letter delayed is given the day of or the day before the hearing with FBI Director Chris Wray. My question for you is, will you make the findings of this review publicly available to Congress and to servicemen and women?
You know, Ms. Wing is a GS employee. She's not a senior executive. There are restrictions that we have to follow, but we will look into the matter as far as to see what can be shared and what can't.
Well, we're requesting that. My next question for you is, have you read Kelisa Wing's books titled, What is White Privilege? What does it mean to defund the police? What is the Black Lives Matter movement? Have you read those books?
I have not read those books.
Are you aware, however, that those books are in DODEA K-12 schools throughout the country?
I do not know, I can't say with certainty, I do not know that they are in those libraries at all, or if they have been, or if they are now.
Well, they are. Do you think that's appropriate?
I don't know for a fact that they are.
They are. I'm telling you they are. That's why I asked you the question. You should know. You're a DOD official. I'm informing you. You should know the answer that they are available.
Well,
and one reason you should know that is because in her own presentation as a DOD employee at a DODEA summit, she stated, quote, my passion work is dismantling disparate discipline systems, and I am hugely passionate about dismantling the school-to-prison pipeline. I've written a book, Promises and Possibilities, Dismantling the School-to-Prison Pipeline. Shameless plug. That's her words, end quote. So while conducting her official duties as a DODEA employee, she advertised not only her personal social media accounts, which included this tweet, her personal websites, but she advertised her personal books. Are you aware that this is illegal for DOD employees to advertise and promote their personal books, that they will profit off of those sales?
Again, this was a book that she wrote in a personal matter. It was on her personal tweet, I guess, from what I understand.
No, it wasn't on a personal tweet.
Saying?
It was at a DOD summit. In her capacity presenting as a DOD official, she promoted her book, and in fact, she stated this is a shameless plug for her book. Is that illegal, and is that appropriate?
I don't know who she was talking to or what the summer was. I'm not aware with that, but I can look into it and I'll get back to you.
You seem to not know a lot of what's happening in the department. You seem to be inappropriate. So my expectation is that we'll continue educating you on what's happening in the Biden administration Department of Defense, but this is absolutely unacceptable. We expect that report, and I will take it as a result that we delivered, making sure that she should have been fired completely, but she was at least moved somewhere else, not dealing with our kids' educational systems.
Well, there are restrictions that, again, she's a GS employee. She's not a senior executive. The inquiry did find that, the tweets that she made or comments that she made were not in line with the Department of Defense or Judea schools, but they were made on a personal basis. That was the result of the inquiry. And we will look into the privacy that's in there, and we will share, we will look into what we can share and what we can't share.
I'll yield back to the chair.
Gaetz tweeted regarding the exchange, taxpayers funded the salary of an anti-white diversity, equity, and inclusion chief at the Department of Defense education activity. She's still employed at the Department of Defense. Yet when white service members post about the Second Amendment or building the wall, they become the target.
To go back to the tweets of the racist person that works for you. What does caudacity mean?
I have no idea, Congressman.
You took 6 months to investigate one tweet. You didn't even figure out what the words meant?
I didn't investigate the thing. She's a DOD.
Well, you said in the Fox News article that you were going to take 30 days and investigate, and it took you 6 months. In a 6-month investigation, you guys didn't learn what caudacity meant? I think you know. I think every person that's going to watch this exchange knows you know. She's trying to lash audaciousness with someone being Caucasian, isn't she?
I have no idea, Congressman.